The National Party leadership dance took a new turn today when Cabinet Ministers Paula Bennett and Simon Bridges both announced they wanted to pair up with Bill English to serve as his deputy. Now, this is interesting on two levels. One, because there are two now on-the-record contenders for the position of deputy, but the second level it is interesting on is that they are both backing Bill English. Now, we've previously heard, including from Matthew Hooton on our program last night, that senior Cabinet Ministers are backing English, but there was a sense that the youngsters, and both Bridges and Bennett are in their 40s, might have been shopping around for change. That we understand, in fact, explicitly, we know is not the case. They are behind English too, and it is increasingly apparent English is getting the numbers. Mr English is fighting off Health Minister Jonathan Coleman and Corrections Minister Judith Collins. It is a three-way leadership contest. The three-term Tauranga MP, Simon Bridges, who holds the transport and energy portfolios, stepped out of the blocks first.
We have a clear view emerging that Bill English is the best person for the job by a long way. But that things can't stay exactly as they are. This was no longer the John Key-led government to make a statement of the bleedingly obvious, and that there is a need for some change and rejuvenation, and that's based on which I stand. Obviously, much more broadly than that, I also think I've got a strong set of skills and attributes and values that I bring to this.
So then Simon Bridges was asked about raising the age of eligibility for superannuation, something John Key obviously has emphatically ruled out.
I mean, I'm not trying to be cute with you. I think in terms of substantive, difficult policy issues like superannuation, like the social issues that Katie has raised, they're matters for a caucus. I'm not going to come out today with some grand pronouncements of them. My broad assessment on that is that actually what all of the evidence shows is down the track, in the 2020s there will need to be change. That's not something that's on us right now.
Simon Bridges. Later, it was Social Housing Minister Paula Bennett's turn. She's worked closely with Bill English on social housing and finance. Speaking to reporters, Paula Bennett described her relationship with Bill English as fantastic.
Oh look, I've got a fantastic relationship with Bill. I've worked really well with him for many years. Him and I have been absolutely invested in the social investment approach amongst other things. I do see myself working really, really well with him, and it's up to Bill to make a social
Simon Bridges says he'd be better than you. He says he will be a better Deputy Prime Minister than you. Would you be better than him?
Oh, I'm just going to let my caucus colleagues decide that. I reckon I've got something to offer. I'm pretty excited about the opportunity. I want to put myself forward, but I'm going to have those conversations with my caucus colleagues.
Sorry, do you represent change? Because he says that you're part of the kitchen cabinet, whereas he would be real change.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I am. I'm definitely someone that's a bit different, and I think that I've been 2 years now in the kitchen cabinet. That's given me a really richness of experience. But I don't know, I bring an energy, I've got an enthusiasm, I just love people, I love this country.
That was Paula Bennett. She's Upper Harbour MP. That's material, by the way, because that is an Auckland electorate. Simon Bridges from Tauranga, Bill English, of course, from the South Island and from Wellington. And it is seen as essential, given that 1 voter in 3 lives in Auckland, that there is representation at the highest ranks of the National Party cabinet. We're joined on the phone now by Michelle Bogue, former National Party president, to discuss the fact that the numbers do seem to be falling behind your preferred cabinet candidate, I think, Michelle, and it's nice to have you back with us. Bill English, he's your man, isn't he? And he's increasingly the caucus favourite, it appears?
Well, not only that, actually, I've been out and about in the business community today, and there's overwhelming support for Bill. I don't think it's a great surprise because he's very well connected to the business community. They have a lot of respect for him. He's widely acknowledged as the policy architect of the government, which I've said before, and the major innovations in policy terms have been ones that he's put in place. But I think being so sort of overwhelmingly to be seen in charge, I think will have an impact. I think people will now start to turn their attention more to the deputy position.
Yes, and so Both Bridges and Bennett are ambitious, and they both have strengths and, I guess, weaknesses. Bennett's looked vulnerable on occasions around social housing, but she is a woman, obviously, and an Auckland MP. And National needs to address imbalances in both those areas, surely.
Well, Paula is not only a woman, she's also a part Maori woman. But I think the thing about Paula is that she's very empathetic. Paula's not afraid to be emotional.
Is that your experience of her? Has she always looked empathetic around social housing? Has she looked empathetic when a marae in Auckland started housing the homeless? Has she looked as engaged and empathetic as you might hope?
Well, she is as a person. I mean, she's a very open and warm person. Now, having said that, you know, I think there may well be more declarations for the deputy position because there is a lot of talent at that second level. So I wouldn't say it's a slam dunk, but I think people will now be thinking about, okay, you've got Bill, he's very rational, he's very solid, people respect him. What do you need to complement the skills that he has? You say
you've got Bill. Do you think it's a done deal now? Is it getting close to so? And certainly, and we've been calling around today, there does seem to be well and truly majority support for Bill English. What sort of numbers are you hearing?
I think it will definitely be a first ballot decision with Bill. I mean, I think it'll be overwhelmingly a first ballot decision. Right,
so we will have a new Prime Minister fairly early on Monday.
Look, I think as soon as they have that contest, you know, everyone wants the result as quickly as possible. So as soon as they have the meeting, the whole process is probably only going to take about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Why would they keep the world waiting?
Yeah. And in terms of the deputy, you said there may be others yet to come forward. Have you got any idea who they might be?
I think there's a number of people who might stake a claim. I think the point you made about geography may mean that Amy Adams decides to sit this one out.
Because she's another rural South Island MP, albeit she is highly regarded by her caucus colleagues, right?
Highly regarded,
yep.
Very competent,
yep.
Very safe pair of hands. But, hey, Amy's got plenty of time. It looks like Stephen Joyce is going to be happy with his likely appointment as the Minister of Finance. That makes sense. And why would you put that at risk by then, you know, competing in another area where actually you probably don't need to be? I mean, let's face it, Minister of Finance is a very key position in any government. And I think it's probably always been Stephen's ambition. So he'll be very happy with that. I don't think we'll see him putting his hat in the ring. But there could be others. You know, there are plenty of others out there. The question is if Coleman and
Judith
Collins don't win, will they then throw their hat in the ring for deputy in the next round? Because I don't know whether they, you know, they're probably entitled to. And
both Auckland MPs.
Yeah, so, you know, we could end up having 5 or 6 candidates for deputy, which might make it difficult to get a first ballot decision.
Michelle Bogue, former National Party president, and a person with her ear to the wall, so to speak, joining us live there. And there is an increasing sense that Bill English is emerging well and truly as the front runner, with the other two, Collins and Coleman, quite a way back.